Warning, the show contains adult language, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show's about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. Today's episode 247 is Survival Preparedness Mindset. And before you hang up the fucking phone, I want to just talk about survivalism. It's not what you think it is. It's not about preparedness like, oh my God, we're going to get a bunker and fill it full of rice and beans and guns and ammunition and stuff like that. I never knew that I was a prepper in a way that, as I said, not crazy. If I've already lost you, fuck it. Who gives a shit? But I think I want to talk about today of sensibility first. Sensibility and practicality and things that we've been doing. And we're pretty much, the majority of us are preparedness people, but in a way that's practical, not this crazy, Billy Bob stuff. Sorry, Billy, didn't mean to talk shit about you. But yeah, I want to talk today about sensibility and practicality, things you're already doing, things you're already using, how it makes life easier and such, and how it's good practice for business, for spirituality, for health, for stress management, for everything. It's just a better way of life. I mean, we used to do this all the time. We had to, and I think we've lost track on making a surplus. It's summertime, it's springtime, it's fall, and we have a bunch of tomatoes and we can them, we put them away for winter. Kind of like the story of the grass and the ant hopper. The grass and the ant hopper. Holy shit! I need a referee. The ants and the grasshopper. Check out that story. I like a show called the Survival Podcast, and I don't agree with everything they do on it, but always loved the philosophy of the ant and the grasshopper story. And it's basically ants preparing themselves for winter, and the grasshopper's laughing at them. You guys work too hard and everything. You think too much and everything. Next thing you know, winter comes, he's banging at the door like, come on, man, let me in. I'm hungry. I'm cold. Shit hit the fan. And yeah. So let's jump into it. A talk on sensibility and practicality first. So yeah, it's a lot of things that we're already doing. As I said, there's a lot of freakish people out there, the tinfoil hat wearing people, conspiracy theories and things like that. And that's not at all what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about let's jump into the next notes. I think I laid the foundation for that, hopefully. So let's talk about things you're already doing. So what are things you're already doing? You're driving your car, you're eating food, you're using electricity to cool and heat your home, you're using electricity to preserve your food, you go and you work very hard and you pay a bunch of fucking taxes on money, you get raped, and then whatever's left over, you take your sorry ass over to the grocery store and you buy whatever you can, you put it in the freezer so it'll last. So this is an investment. The gas that you buy, the food that you buy, these are things you're already using and doing. So how could we run our life like a business and make these things a little bit more efficient? And I think going back to the sensibility and practicality of preparedness is that I think the mistake a lot of people do is put it this way, guys. If you go down, and Costco, I think, has one right now. They have like an earthquake survival kit. And I'm pretty sure they have it for tornadoes and stuff like that. There's lots of stuff that could happen basically in our lives. The pandemic and things like that. Think of it if you already had a pantry just stuffed full of food. Think about if you already had a budget, you had a bunch of emergency funds for when you couldn't go to work and you ended up just okay. You were better than okay, you were fine. You had enough provisions and everything to get yourself through. Things we're already doing, things we're already using. So how does this make life easier? Why should you even care, right? But if you've already purchased one of those survival kits, it's like a 5-gallon bucket, or some people have 55-gallon drums. You're already a prepper. The problem is this isn't practical. Maybe you bought a bunch of the army food and stuff like that. It tastes like shit. That you're never going to eat. A bunch of canned foods that you're never going to eat. A bunch of stuff you're never going to use, and you end up giving it away. You lost an investment. You're not running your life like a business. So what we're talking about here today is utilizing things that you're already going to, buy extra of things that you're using right now. So this makes life easier, as I said, because if you get a pandemic or, there's a lot of, a crash could come. natural disasters and things like that. It makes life a lot easier. It's a lot less stress. It's definitely a stress reduction system here. And one of the ways I can tell you guys right here, right now, is that it's beyond a stress reduction for me. It's actually like an investment. I look at, and I've purchased extra materials for gardening, seeds and stuff like that. And there's all this stuff going on right now that, like, you know, shit's going to hit the fan in so many different ways all over the board. And the feeling when you're on my side of the fence, where you have plenty of seeds, you have plenty of soil amendments to grow, basically stuff to grow your own food. You have plenty of money to last you 2 to 3 years, right? I don't want to use it all up, but when you see all these things and hear all these things, you come from a point of reference or a place of existence where you're just looking at it going, this is fucked up, man. Yeah, I'm fucking, is this shit really going to go down? But you come from a perspective now, a mindset of like, well, if it does, then what am I going to do about it? Oh, well, I've got plenty of seeds. I've got plenty of money. I've got plenty of fuel stored up in case there was a huge fuel shortage, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that, how that makes sense. I'm fine. I don't want to use my bank account up, right? But you come from an area where that must suck for a lot of people right now. You know, that's the area. That's a lot from the show as I look at this alternative lifestyle design that I've created for myself is just a very low stress. In fact, as I said, it comes to a point where you actually have something to invest in and to actually study the monster. Is the way I like to talk about it. Things are going wonky, and you have the time now, and also the mind. You have the mind capacity because you're not sitting here freaking out where your next meal is going to come from, or if you're going to lose your house, or you know, how the fuck am I supposed to keep this shit up? This charades, this big old giant circus show. You know, you're just freaking out. When you're not freaking out, you're able to sit back and kind of observe what's going on. Find out about what, you know, unbiasedly too. Well, what's the bad shit? What's the good shit? Now, I definitely want to go with the good shit. How do I devise a plan now, right? Instead of freaking out. So that's where I say it's very low stress. And predictability. This gives you predictability to say that, hey, you know what? If just shit really hit the fan, I don't know, you got in a car accident or something happened, I've got a year, 2 years or something to move and do something differently. So this is really, really powerful because very few things in life are predictable. Nobody knows which way the world's going right now. There's all talks about, you know, a deep, deep world recession, the Great Reset, another pandemic hitting, all this crazy shit, unpredictable. But what you can predict is what you can do with your life to prepare yourself for such events that can happen. So that's very nice to have at least some sort of predictability in your life. So convenience, I want to move forward to. The convenience is on the very first one I have is groceries. So most people, I think maybe every few days or so, will go to the grocery store and buy what you think you need for dinner. It's very convenient in that you're running your life like a business. Now, when it comes to food, it's kind of like running your house like a restaurant. I have a bottle of ketchup. It actually just happened to me. I made some smoked ribs the other day, and I didn't replace my I fell out of tune, guys. I fucked up. You know, I didn't have barbecue sauce. So for my ribs, so usually what I do is I go and buy like a large container of barbecue sauce. I buy 2 of them, right? So when I pull one out of the shelf, I use that barbecue sauce, I put it in the fridge. The next one comes up from the back end, right? And I buy in bulk, so it's super cheap. Or if there's a good deal, buy one, get one free or half off, I buy the 2 bottles. So it's not all about barbecue sauce. It's about everything in your food, you know, your pantry and your preparations. So what happens is most people, if they're cooking or something, they most likely are going to have to go to the store to get some milk or spices or, in my case, barbecue sauce. Where when I usually plan this out right, you know, when I pull that last bottle off, there's another one ready to replace it. We always keep this in circulation. So you get what I'm saying. All the things that you're buying, ketchup and eggs and just whatever you've got, always keep an extra one behind so to replace that one. And that's when you'll know is when that last one comes up to the front of the pantry. You put it on your list next time you go. Like for me, I go about once a week because I do produce a lot of my own food and my garden systems, but there's a lot of stuff I do need to buy. So I go about once a week, and I barely, you know, I'll spend like $40, $50, you know, on raw vegetables and things like that. But as far as meats, dairy, and grains and what have you, like quinoa and stuff is one I like to eat. A lot of jasmine rice and stuff like that. I've got pounds and pounds of that stuff, and it's always in rotation. A lot of canned foods, canned tunas, canned chicken, which I don't really care for, but you can throw it in soups and stuff like that. I got that just, you know, the pandemic, I panic bought, you know, but I do this with my toilet paper, with paper towels if you're using it. I utilize paper plates when I'm in the hustle, which I'm really excited to. I need to do a show on it, guys. The mini retirement today, as I'm recording this, is my last job for a while until I decide to go back to work. I think I'm going to take like 3 months off and just not do shit. I don't know. We're gonna see. I definitely need a break, but I'm really excited. This is my last day, and yeah. But the convenience is, I basically go grocery shopping in my own home. I go to my freezers. I look at what do I want to make chicken fajitas today. You know, I got some flash frozen vegetables, so I can make some stir fry. Or I've got plenty of propane and things like that, fuel stored up. So I've got my wok. So I got my barbecue, which I cook all my food on. I have giant tanks of propane, so I never really run out. I always keep those in circulation. So keep everything, toothpaste, deodorant, whatever you're doing, keep things in circulation. Trash bags, believe it or not. You think it's a pain in the ass. I run out of my trash bags. So what I do is I line my trash can. I have a special needs kid, by the way, too. And living in the city, I'm not completely sustainable yet. But I line that's why I use trash bags. I hate plastic, for those of you who follow me. But I line my trash can with like three trash bags, and every time I pull the top one off, I put a new one on. That's my marker right there to to go buy trash bags. I know I only have about a week and a half to 2 weeks left with 2 trash liners. This doubles too to make life more convenient, because any juices or, you know, slop or stuff like that gets in will hit the second bag, and it's got a third bag it has to penetrate. So I don't really ever get that muck on the bottom of my trash can barrel. You know, it's always safe there. So yeah, it's very convenient. Energy. What can I say about energy? I've got we've had rolling blackouts and stuff that happened here in North County, San Diego, California, where I live. And as I said, I prepared, so I have tons of meats and stuff and vegetables and things frozen in my chest freezers. And the power goes off for about a day and a half, and it's 100 degrees because it's hot. Guess what's going to happen? A lot of that food could start thawing out. So that's why I have a generator to produce energy, and I use it for work. These are things that we're already utilizing, right? My company, it's a tax write-off, right? To own that thing. It depreciates and stuff like that. I don't rarely ever have to use it really in an emergency, but when it does come up, I've got it. I've got plenty of gas stored. One of the things I do is I fill up, I've got about 6 5-gallon gas cans. I'd like to have 12, but right now we're at 6. I also have 6 diesel gas cans in case there was ever a fuel shortage. And here's how that works. Say there's a fuel shortage or power grid goes off, you can't even buy gas, right? Or you know that the gas taxes are going to go up like they are here. You go fill up all your tanks and, you know, keep everybody topped off. But in this case, I'm already topped off. And basically what I do is I mark these things January, February, March, April, May, June, July, right? I know that every January, I keep my fuel no longer than 6 months, is I'll dump my gas into my ex-wife's car, and and she'll pay me the money for it. Let's just say there's an equal value for value exchange. I dump that 5-gallon out. I put it in the back of my truck. I'll fill up my diesel, one of my 5 gallons into my diesel pickup truck, which if you guys are watching the show, this is my mobile studio. And when I go to the gas station, I'll fill them both up and then keep them in rotation. So February comes around, I know I need to dump February. Once a month, get rid of your gas and keep these things in rotation. So you're not wasting anything. You're already utilizing these things. In some cases, you're actually saving money. The gas I purchased was, $3.50. I think now it's up to like $4.50. You know, so it's not a big savings. I got maybe $5 discount off gas, but that's $5. As we like to share on the show, everything starts to add up. Everything works with you or against you. You start adding up your time. 1 minute here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there. Remember we were talking about my dog. I'd walk my dog every morning and every evening. That was 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. That's an hour of my time. Grooming, feeding, I could safely say that's probably about an hour and a half. So my dog was literally taking an entire work day of my life. Granted, I loved her to death and everything and would do it again for her. But we're looking at the time here. We also looked at this with money. $2 here, $5 there. You start adding all this stuff. You start sticking it into a jar or putting it in a savings account. Next thing you know, it starts to build up, and it starts to build up really, really fast. Excuse me. So that's the show, guys. I hope that I haven't scared you guys off with this preparedness stuff, but I think it makes a lot of sense. It's very practical, very sensible, and a good thing in our lives if we can get past the strangeness of what we think it is and start utilizing it as a tool. So guys, if I brought you any value, and only if I brought you value, please give me a review on the show. Help me get the show off the ground, man. We're at a slow start. I need your help. And again, only if you like it. The description's below, upandinitshow@gmail.com. You guys can message me direct, or you guys can go to upandinit.com, and you guys can actually leave me a phone message. There's a phone number there, so we got a website up. Let me know what you guys think. So, yeah, give me a review. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, middle finger. Subscribe, do all that wonderful shit. And guys, it's Up and In It. You can find it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and anywhere where they'll allow me to place these shows. Guys, as I always say, go out there and have yourself a near life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it, my friends.